Max Kellerman, Molly, this is one of the toughest positions that I've ever had to take in my career on First Take. And here is why.
Stephen A. Smith, what the hell are you doing? You're talking about the hiring of Steve Nash as the Brooklyn Nets coach being white privilege? Are you serious? How was Derek Fisher hired? How was Jason Kidd hired? How are all these other players hired with no experience? It's because their experience on the court as a player takes place as precedent over their coaching experience, clearly. So when you have a good floor general on the court, like Chris Paul, for example, who will probably get a coaching job without any experience, they're good on the court coaches. So GMs are thinking, hey, they're probably going to be good if they're off the court as a coach, or on the sideline rather. So you're sitting here acting like it's white privilege, and then you get called out for it, and then you say, oh, I double down, you can all kick rocks, and he's all salty about it. You know, when the NBA players were protesting and boycotting, Stephen A. at first was against it. He wanted the league to keep going. Why was that? Well, maybe because he'd have nothing to talk about if the league was shut down because of protesting. So if it affects his wallet, he's not going to say a word. He wants the league to keep going. That's not going to help their message and blah, blah, blah. But when it doesn't affect his wallet and it's a simple coach hiring, he wants to pull race bait. He wants to pick and choose his battles. It's unbelievable. Now, feel free to blow up my comments, call me a racist, call me an idiot, but just hear me out for a second, right? So if Derek Fisher was hired the same exact way, and Jason Kidd, and other coaches that were players, how does that make it a racial issue? Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving signed off on this hiring. They were all for it. Okay, even Stephen A. himself admits that. So if your two star players, who some say are hard to coach, like a coach and endorse him, why the hell, if you're the GM, why wouldn't you want that coach on your sideline? Especially when that coach is a two-time MVP and one of the greatest point guards of all time. He wants to talk about the lack of experience and, oh, there's black coaches that have more experience. Okay, yeah, those coaches, they've seen their experience. They've seen what they had to do, and they're not satisfied with it, or they did talk to them and other issues came up. But the fact of the matter is, those guys have proven themselves, whether it's proven to be good or proven to be bad. I'm not saying they're bad coaches. Ty Lue's not a bad coach. Mark Jackson's not a bad coach. But they wanted to go in a different direction. They wanted to think outside the box, try something new, and they shouldn't be shamed for that. Not everything is about race. Charles Barkley was asked about this, and I think he made a great point. He said, if you're going to be calling everything racist, you're going to sound like the boy who cried wolf. I'm paraphrasing here. But in other words, if every single thing is racist, no one's going to take anything you say seriously anymore because they think, oh, he's just crying race again. So if you have actual issues and you experience actual racism, that's the time to call it out. You're not supposed to just call it out every time something doesn't go your way and use it as an excuse. And that's what Stephen A. is doing here for those other coaches. Magic Johnson became CEO of the Los Angeles Lakers with no experience at any of that. And some say he was bad at his job. I don't think he was bad. I think he just really didn't get enough time to really do much. But at the same time, zero experience. Hired. Because why? He was the Los Angeles Lakers point guard. Wow, a player getting a job without any experience? Crazy. If LeBron retired tomorrow and wanted a coaching job, you think somebody would hire him? I think so. Even one of the poor teams, someone would take LeBron as their coach. Why? Because he's great on the court, directing traffic and helping his teammates. LeBron's also a great recruiter, as we saw with Anthony Davis. He's basically a player GM. Le GM is a real thing. So do you think if he wanted to be a GM tomorrow, they would say no? Even if the teams were terrible and they had no future, they were just, we don't want LeBron as our GM. The respect that he will have and has with the future generation of players and being able to recruit them alone is a good enough reason to become the next GM of a team. And so that's what you're seeing here with Steve Nash. He has a connection clearly with Kevin Durant. I mean, he was the player development coach for the Warriors, so Kevin Durant's had some time with him. So clearly they had some say in it. I mean, they're the two stars of the team, and they want him. That's all you need to know, honestly. This isn't a story. Like if you enjoyed this one, comment, tell me your perspective on this. Subscribe if you're new. I'm out.